Namaste, my YouTube family. Aga here with Balance Lab. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a while since I shared a video that is not from a therapy session, and a lot has been going on. So I really wanted to share with you how my journey has been like, because vibrationally, creatively, it's been very, very productive and just incredibly rewarding. A lot of intensity have been brewing up since September this year. That was a little hard for my body to handle, so my sleep needed to be regulated. It's a little bit better, but it's still kind of like this. I don't know how is your sleep, but I'm working on taking more magnesium and grounding myself more, because of course I love my etheric ecstatic states. My kundalini is dancing sometimes like crazy, and it's the highest of the highs that you can experience while in the human body. And it happens quite a bit when I'm doing yoga, doing breath work, doing sessions, meditating, and so on. And I wanted to talk about these states of consciousness that I have been experiencing, and also was wondering if that's something you are also experiencing, if you are on this conscious spiritual path, if you are doing the work, the exercises, if you're present with these energies and you are tuning into them and they speak to you, because they're alive. And the more you open up your internal channels, the more vocabulary, the more availability you get. So for example, I have been meditating lately with a couple of amazing stones. Well, I have more, and I love crystals. You know, I have quite a bit of crystals right next to me on my altar. This is for Akashic record reading. This is some beautiful calcite. I also have lots of other things, quartz and amethyst, and I have other things right next to me. But I came across more raw rocks, more like meteorites, or rocks like azostalite. That's the one. I'm familiar obviously with moldavite, and this is kyanite. Plus I have tektite and a couple of other things that look, you know, very regular, but these are powerful stones for me anyway. I came across them through a friend, and wow, I have been having incredible experiences, to say the least. And my body somehow is handling it, but I'm seeing so many fractals. So when I go into these altered states, I meditate with azostalite, for example. My body starts vibrating really, really strongly, and because my central channel is very open, the energies have access through my third eye to my body. And I'm having journeys like people who take DMTs or ayahuasca. I have these incredible fractal patterns that give me a kaleidoscope of imagery, shows, vibration. And the visual part is one part, right? But when you're so open, you also have access to different information that is residing in the field around us, in different energetic spheres, levels, and they became open to me. So when I was journeying the other night, I started asking questions and connected to like the pure energetic or higher self aspects of different people. And it was beautiful. Like I could see all of them, except for maybe one person that didn't show up. But the rest was very clearly felt, and the voice of their higher self I recognized, because it sounded just exactly and felt like people that I know, but it was their higher aspect. So I would have conversation about them, or I could scan them and see maybe they are misaligned energetically. That recently became accessible to me, that when I align myself, open myself. It takes few minutes. Then I can scan a person, a client of mine, and see their energetic imprint and see what is misaligned, what we need to work on. Also, if they have spirits, attachments, some kind of foot forms, energy forms, I see them very clearly. And I've been seeing them for a long time, but now it's just becoming very accessible to me. So the veil has thinned for sure, and I am able to perceive these realities very, very strongly. You know, my brain is releasing so much DMT, like people who have near-death experiences, or people who are dying or being born. That's naturally when your brain produces a lot of DMT. But I've done some reading, and my brain is releasing lots of them. So this is a little bit intense on my body, because from what I've read, some amounts of DMT can be dangerous, and they can actually create malfunctions in animals, in rats. So I've been also working on my grounding, because although I'm not really attached to my body, I know that I'm still here for a reason. I've been writing like crazy about my experiences in different realms, in the form of essays, poems, but also novel is brewing. So that's why you haven't seen me publishing more of a spiritual content, but I am very, very active in these realms, and it's just been an incredible experience that I could never ever foresee. And it's getting even more powerful at times. With these rocks, I got a message when I was in one of my journeys that I should get a kunzite crystal. So I ordered it. I haven't received it yet. But the azostalite, tektite, and a couple of other rocks from Brazil that I got a hold of recently. Wow, this is a game changer. So if you are into crystals and you feel energies and you go into altered states, you meditate, please share with me. What's your experience like? Because for me, it's like speaking to God, you know? I know I am a God, but this is like the direct experience. I am a God, and I can see things from many different angles simultaneously. That's another thing I wanted to share with you, because that it was a powerful experience I had the other day, when I could see a person that I recognize as my soul counterpart, someone that I recognize from other dimension of reality, as someone I know. I was able to use the energy from that activation to allow me to see fragments, these patterns that create three-dimensional reality, these fractals, these fractionations. And it looked like in a Matrix movie, when you have Neo in a center and he sees all these models, all these frames, and I'm able to see it as they appear and they come together as one. But I saw them like a, Kali depiction in a Hindu mythology. You see her embodying the Shakti, that highest cosmic energy in action, dancing, and you see multiple hands. She's kind of scary looking deity. But the reason I bring her up is because you see her with this multitude of hands, and this is what I saw. The picture of reality split into a multitude of frames that I was able to see at the same time. So I know this is really intense for a lot of people. Maybe you've had experiences like that. I have had experiences of similar caliber. First, when my Kundalini got activated a few years ago, when I met my twin flame, and then I started working with that energy. And when I went to Asia for the first time, I had an incredible spontaneous Kundalini outburst and finally it became stable, because at the beginning it's so intense, you don't even need to sleep, you're like on the highest high for days and weeks, and your body doesn't need much rest. So I became aware of these states of consciousness, and then had to learn how to cultivate them and how to make them safe for my body, for my work, for my life. And recently, with this another wave of activation that started sometime in September, it was building up, building up, building up. I wonder if you also are experiencing these very powerful shifts. It culminated about 2 weeks ago, and now I'm just in a writing mode. I started taking a channeling course just to see if there is something else that I need to learn. I connected with my spirit guide, which is actually it's a Sasquatch. So he showed up, and I connected with Andromeda Collective. This seems to be like one of the groups that I can speak with. So I saw them and I felt them, and I started doing these 30 minutes meditations every day to consciously channel, just so I can embody and understand and have a continuous flow of that energy through me eventually, right? But from what I learned at the beginning, for months, you need to practice. And I'm committed to doing this practice. So a lot of incredible upgrades, I'm not touching the earth for sure. And it's been like this for years for me. But I know that people on spiritual journey, and they sometimes go through years of practices, and they don't reach the samadhi, the state of freedom. So I would be interested in learning about your journeys and what are you doing to activate, right? Because I've had near-death experience as a child, and I also have seen all kinds of beings up to age of 9, when I was at my grandma's place in the countryside. She lived in a peaceful environment, and I had these visitations from these beings that looked like Jesus, but from what I understand, they were from different space-time reality. But as a child, this was my context, right? Because I'm from Poland, and we are very much ingrained in Catholicism. But what was really the most important was the energy, what I was feeling coming from the sky towards me, this love, this absolute incredible presence, which I am experiencing and embodying all the time now. It's hard to find anyone who would understand where I'm coming from. That's why I'm going to go to Asia again in January, probably to Nepal, to continue writing my book, take a break from work, and really just be in a very pure environment where I can have direct access to this energy without all the mental stressors that I'm experiencing in a city, right? Because when I'm in Chicago, there's 12 million people living here, and at some point it affects my equilibrium. So I noticed that, and I need to take a break, and I am shifting my practices to doing more spiritual mentorship for people who are consciously on their path, and they need some guidance. They are experiencing a lot of intense emotions, and they want somewhere to oversee their growth, so it's safe, because it might look on the outside like a psychotic episode. So you really, really need to be aware that things will crumble. Your old reality will crumble. All of your blueprints, all of your understanding of what is real, what you are, what is good, what is bad, this will all fall apart when the higher level organizational pattern frequency takes over. The lower level understanding crumbles, or it just needs to adjust. meaning that that higher order is the governing, it's the new paradigm. So you start understanding and experiencing things from very different point of view, and that can freak people out. And it did freak me out at the beginning too. So I am more interested in guiding people who are committed to this path rather than doing one-on-one therapy for people to maintain their sanity, right? Because I have had so many experiences of such caliber that I know I touched something that not a lot of people, while in physical vessel, are able to understand. And it's amazing. It's also something I need to protect, to make sure that I share the space with people who honor what I am, what I have to offer. So I've been reframing the way I look at my work and what I want to offer, and eventually it will be more like lectures or workshops when my book is out and the tools are out. I'm finishing also recording a course which will be comprehensive level 1 energy work with a lot of tools for self-healing. So that should be available within a month on my website, balanceisperfection.com. Lastly, I wanted to talk about my first Kambo ceremony. I don't know if you're familiar with medicines from jungle, like Sananga, Rape, Kambo, Ayahuasca. Long time ago when I was doing my healing, at some point I drank ayahuasca with shamans to help my self-healing process, to heal trauma from my childhood. I was already meditating intensely for a couple of years, so I had an internal structure to help me internalize and integrate the experiences from these really, really open states and ground them, and integrate them. So I did maybe 7-8 ceremonies, and eventually I was able to salvage my inner child. And I realized shortly after that that was the end of this part of my journey, that the major healing was complete. Now it was more about expansion, and I never partook in any other ceremonies using psychedelics, because I started having access to these levels of consciousness without any substances. But things like Kambo or Sananga or Rape are not psychoactive. They're more like purifiers, and if you're doing a lot of work like me, when you help process people very, very strong emotions, they don't affect me emotionally, but I notice that they might affect my nervous system and my sleep patterns. And this was my first Kambo ceremony about 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. I saw my higher self looking like an insectoid. It looked like a praying mantis being, and it was metallic, kind of grayish black. First it was just looking at me, and it took me a moment to realize that this is like the higher aspect of me showing itself in a physical form. And it had sort of like a wand, and that was colorful wand with different chakra representations, from red to violet. So I didn't have like the usual purging effect, because I always detox, and I did fasting, water fast for 6-7 days. Just 3 weeks ago I finished. So my system is very pure. I always purify, and I didn't purge. I didn't have that kind of intense physical reaction like a lot of people report. I felt body high, a different high than I normally feel. The ecstasy that comes from feeling very empowered, kind of like brave in the human skin. So you can compare it to like a warrior being really high on adrenaline and ready to conquer or ready to go hunt. That was my experience. Definitely felt the scanning up and down, especially my upper body. And then it was just that growing, beautiful feeling of strength, right? That primal strength coming from like the jungle. And I definitely would like to try Kambo again. I think I'll do it at the end of this month. And I did the Sananga and Rape, so I did the eye drops, and I did the sniff as well. Again, these are all like purifiers, and the Rape, the sniff, helps you ground. When you are not in the body, or maybe if people maybe drink or they took some drugs and they need to just come down into the body, this will immediately flatten that balloon of energy and you're grounded again. So that's something that probably I need to take from time to time in order to feel myself in the body, because I am often in such etheric realms that I need to talk to my body. I need to talk to my brain and guide it back to my physicality and say, okay, now it's time to rest. Actually, we're resting. We are not traveling to another galaxy to meet another being or to learn more. We are having more of a human experience. So I am still working on it, right? It's like easy for me when I travel and I work less with clients, with energy. I have no problem sleeping. But when I'm working a lot, sometimes it's like 5 hours a day, right? Doing energy work or hypnosis, when I go into altered state with clients, so I can see where they are and I can assist them. Because they don't have tools to complete the process of integrating their shadow, their subconscious. And then, I need to have like a little bit of time for myself to come back to Aga, to who I am in this physical realm, because I'm still operating here a little bit, right? Like this avatar is still walking, projecting this energy through the body. So it's been a journey and wonderful and so powerful. And this is what I wanted to share with you. Even if you just listen to the vibration, even if this is all new to you, feel it, because it's a very high frequency energy. It's very healing, and I invite you just to drink it up, soak it up, take it all in. If you have had these kinds of experiences with azostalite, kyanite, tektite, and all these amazing stones, rocks from different stars, because some of them are not from Earth, I would love to hear about that, because what I am experiencing just by meditating is blowing my mind. And my book will talk about these things, but in the form of a novel. So there will be a dialogue, there will be adventure, there will be probably some romance, poetry, all the things that I'm very, very attracted towards. And I read a lot. I want my book to be of certain level, so it's not going to be always this most simple language, but the ideas that I present, I want to make sure that they're digestible. So that's all from me for today. Lots of amazing upgrades. I will be coming to Europe. I will be in London on December 9th up to December 17th. So if you're interested in quantum healing session, I'm happy to work with you. I'll be in Europe. And then I'm going to my hometown, Kraków. And I will be there probably for about 3 weeks. So if you're interested in hypnosis or any other work in Poland, I'm also happy to take care of you. It's going to be great to be in Europe again. And after that, I'm heading towards Asia. So much love to you. So much bliss. Love you all. Wish you a safe journey back home. Love is the way home. Stay in your integrity. Stay in your truth. And let all the layers, old patterns of protection, self-protection, all the limiting concepts fall down, because the greater reality is so magnificent, is so magical. It will take you to such places, events, people that maintaining that quality of vibration is all that you need to do. You don't have to speculate what's going to happen, how things are going to happen. You're simply in vibrational state to access things that are already there for you. So less external work, more internal fine-tuning. Love you all. I'll be in touch.